shorty what your name is. Do you have a man who you came with?
Yeah.
Let's do this mini-sode about plastic surgery.
About plastic surgery. Let's go. Welcome back, y'all. Street Academy podcast, where we keep 1 foot in the academy and 1 foot in the streets. And we back, and we back, and we back.
Yes. Give me that falsetto.
I'm gonna start singing, bro. Like, y'all not gonna stop me from singing. I'm gonna start singing, bro.
To me, it was the face and the closed eyes. It was like, I feel like I just needed you to do that.
And I don't wait. You know, 90s R&B, that's my shit, bro. Like the Drew Hill is like one of my favorite groups of all time. You know what I mean?
It's not how.
Okay, how you been? What's good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm actually doing really good. I had a counseling session on Friday with my counselor, and yeah, I'm just feeling good. It's good. I had a little setback yesterday. I was thinking about some things that was irking me, and I kind of had to force myself to just kind of let that go. So it's a new day, but good stuff.
You know what? The other week, so I have my counseling every 2 weeks. And so the other week I had a counseling session, and it's kind of related to this topic in a way, to her just about body image and all of the messages that I've felt like I've received about body image since I was a little girl and how much I feel like it's holding me back. Right. And she asked me such a poignant question. Also, most poignant questions are very simple questions. Right. She said, what would you do if you didn't have to think about this? Like my body image, self-esteem, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I would levitate. I feel like I would feel like I could levitate. And then I was like, wait, student loans. And so I was like, wait, student loans. But I was like, if I didn't have student loans, I was like, I would levitate. And that just made me think like how deep this whole thing is for me. And so, hey, this is a mini-sode where we rip on the topic for just about 20 so minutes. And so, you know what we're going to talk about today? Black people and plastic surgery.
Fixing up the face.
And also
the boobs.
So
and the penises. We're going to talk about penis.
We're going to talk about
Black men too, because a lot of times when we talk about plastic surgery, we go straight to the women. But brothers are starting to do that.
Why don't we start there, John? Tell me. Okay. So this came up because you actually saw something, I guess, about penis enlargements or whatever. Or so what do you think about that?
Well, before we get into that, I wanted to ask you the question, and you tell me which one you want to do first. But I wanted to make it kind of personal first, and ask, have you ever thought about, have you ever had plastic surgery, or have you ever thought about getting plastic surgery?
Hell yeah and hell. Well, hell no and hell yeah. Well, I don't have any plastic surgery, but of course, like I feel like I've just seen so much that's just like, when after I have a baby, even though I know people who stay keeping up with Street Academy podcast, they're probably like, Amber, you have no baby no time soon because of that last episode. But whenever I do have a baby, I've thought about like, getting a breast lift afterwards, so that then it can be like super perfect. Because one of the things is when you breastfeed, your breasts it takes out a lot of the elasticity. And so I've thought about that. I've thought about, I haven't thought about any plastic surgery in a more serious way where I'm like looking up pricing and things like that. Right. But I have if there was one that I was thinking about, it would be a breast lift. And then, all these Black, the whole idea of Black don't crack, which I think is a problem that we actually is not actually.
Let's talk about it.
Talking about that. Yeah. But I also understand that we celebrate the youthful appearance of people. And also I think that we need to, I don't want to say like as a people, but I also think it's important that we also celebrate the signs of aging, because that means that life is continuing. So I don't think that's a problem either. However, the pictures of like Angela Bassett, Nia Long, Regina King, all these people where it's just like, are they getting Botox or are they not getting Botox? Because their skin is tight and they're looking youthful. And they always do the before pictures where it's just like, this was them when they were 19 and now they're 55. They're making all of y'all look bad. And so it's also made me wonder about the more I age and show some of the signs of aging, am I opposed to getting things like Botox? And I'm not sure yet, because I really, really want to get out of the mindset though of like feeling like I don't want to show the signs of aging.
Mhm.
And yet at the same time, I also want to feel free to do whatever I want to do to feel happy and to feel good. And if
Got you.
that's like, and if a simple like little it's gonna make me
Nip,
feel
nip,
good,
tuck.
then why
Yeah,
not? So
yeah,
however, I think what's most important is that I feel good about myself,
right.
period. Because one thing that I do believe is when um it's already easy enough to be hypercritical of our appearances, but once I start nipping and tucking in things, that invites even more analysis and
Hyper
criticality
scrutiny.
of myself. So I can imagine like,
Yeah.
well, did that Botox work though? Like, and so I'm like, I don't know if I want to set myself up for that kind of practice, knowing my history with my body image.
Mm, mm,
So
yeah. I that's very interesting. I've actually never really I don't have any plastic
yeah, have you
surgery.
thought about plastic surgery, and do you have any, John?
I don't have any plastic surgery. I've never really, I guess it's crossed my mind. The only thing I don't like is these rolls. I don't know if y'all see my rolls.
Oh, the road. Okay, what's
Yeah.
you don't
So
like those?
I don't like those. No, every time I see them, even in the last episode, that we uploaded, the in-person episode with Amber Lynn Burnett McLean, I see my little rolls in the back, and I don't really like them. But I've
I
never,
didn't know that.
yeah, that's the only thing about myself that I'm not really that happy about, but I think everything else I'm cool with. Once I started working out and kind of getting my body back right, obviously I
Mhm.
wish I was cut like, Michael B. Jordan and Creed or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but in general, I think I'm happy with my body type and everything. I just don't like the rolls back there. And then sometimes I think I have a face that's a little too fat. But outside of that though, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't really be, I don't know. It's crossed my mind, but like you said, not to a point where I've like wanted to go and like look up pricing and like actually
Mhm.
really do it. Like it doesn't really weigh heavy on me. So I'm cool with it for the rest of my life if it's what I have. You know what I'm saying? And I tend to
Yeah.
like to enhance the parts of me that I do like. So
I think it's so beautiful to hear that, to just say, like, I'm cool with where I am for the rest of my life. Like,
mhm,
and with that though, we won't necessarily have these bodies for the rest of our lives because bodies change and things happen. And so I think there's one part of me that's open to wanting to change whatever. And then another part of me is like, I really want to like deprogram myself that my body needs to look a certain way.
right,
Especially as
right.
a woman, of course, with the rise of all of the different people who have risen with their butt enhancements and butt
Mhm.
augmentations. That's been a thing. I think it used to just be way more taboo to have a fake booty. It's not taboo
It's
anymore.
not taboo no
It's
more.
like, yeah, I got a fake booty, and what? I think it's just it's, and I think when we think about plastic surgery, I think as a Black community, I hate to, I don't want to use that phrase, but as Black people, I think people think about Michael Jackson. I feel like he's like one of the poster
Oh,
children of like plastic surgery gone wrong or plastic
mhm,
surgery gone too far.
right.
Like what, when you were younger, did you ever think about Michael Jackson's plastic surgery, or ask yourself about it, or talk to other people about it?
No, we just all because Michael Jackson and Hollywood was just so far away from
Mm.
our reality. We was just like, oh, that's that Hollywood stuff. But as
Bring it.
as we move more, Hollywood and real life start to become,
Yeah.
I think the term is democratized. Like some things
Mm.
get democratized, so it's so big, so far away because it's a part of the elite, and then over time it becomes more and more accessible to the regular people. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so I think when we were young, it was like, we don't even, who got money for plastic surgery and ass shots and nose stuff or whatever. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. But
Right.
now I know quite a few people. You know what I'm saying?
So you do know people who have had plastic surgery?
Oh, absolutely. I
What kind of
actually, unfortunately, I know a person who, and that's another thing I think we should talk about is some of the dangers of plastic surgery.
Mhm.
And I know a person who, I was friend of a person who had passed away from it. And
Mhm.
so, it's something that we should also talk about as well, at least for even for a little while. I know this is a mini so, but definitely want to, encourage people to be extremely safe and do a lot of research.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's go into that. It makes me
Mhm.
think about even, I don't know if you've seen the Kanye documentary.
Yes.
And of course,
Yes.
it takes us to his mom and how his mom had kind of like she was on like a full body kind of, I forget what they call it. It's like you get like a number of different things at one
Oh, that's
time.
what she was getting?
She had like lipo and all kind of stuff that she was getting.
Yeah.
And then it didn't, she passed away the next day, and the
Mm.
doctor who she had was questionable. He
Oh, that's
wasn't,
right.
yeah, he wasn't necessarily good, or I'm not sure, but I'm sure they probably did a lot of vetting. I'm pretty sure she didn't just go to any old body. And
Mhm.
even with that though, you still have to be careful. And we see the way that has, the loss of his mother has affected Kanye forever.
Mhm.
And it's not, so it's like there's so much risk that's involved when it comes to going under the knife in that way.
Right.
Is it worth that risk? I think we always have to kind of navigate a number of different risks and weigh
Mhm.
them. And so,
What are the like the main thing? Because a lot of people say, well, black people, plastic surgery was used to make white people look like black people. So why are black women getting plastic surgeries? If black women already have the thickness, the ass, the waist, not to say all black women have it,
and see,
but
that's the thing. It's the
oh,
stereotype that we're supposed to embody. So if we don't have it, then does that make us like
that
less
make us
black?
want to
Because
have it.
the
Yeah.
idea is like, oh, a black woman is supposed to, she's already shapely, and it's just like not all
Not
black
all
women. So
black
let's
women.
not trap us into that idea, which
That's
also
true.
comes from like the over sexualization of the black woman's body. And so it's
Right.
already assumed that it's just like, oh, she's shapely, she's this and that. And so then now when there's the expectation for you to have something that you don't have, you got to
Mm,
go out there and get it. Or if
mm.
you are in an industry that seems to require that, such as the sex industry or like
Oh,
exotic dancing or whatever, you're gonna want some of those enhancements because the chicks who have that, they get more money, they get paid more, they get the things that you might want. And if those are the things that you want, you're gonna, I look at it almost as like it's like a career investment. Some people want to invest in college as a way to get to whatever you need to do. So for example, if you want to be a medical doctor, you have to go to college. You have
mhm.
to do whatever you need to do to actually be able to matriculate through a medical program, right?
Right.
If you are an exotic dancer or you want to be in the sex industry in some kind of way, so perhaps you want to be a porn star, then the investment in yourself might not be a college degree, it might be body
My
enhancement so
body.
that you can advance yourself in the way that you
Yeah.
want to.
I've actually heard women say, um, I would instead of saving up to like buy a house,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably put less money or put money into myself, getting titties, getting ass, getting lips, and then get a nigga and have that nigga buy me a house. You know, or have that nigga
That's
buy me a car. You know what I'm saying? So they
well
really look at it
calculated.
as an investment. Like, which one should I do? You know what I'm saying? And everybody doesn't agree. Some people like, you crazy, and others will be like, nah, that makes sense. So you're absolutely right. It definitely is an investment for sure.
And
You know what
that's
I'm
a
saying? Or
well
some people look at
calculated
it as an investment.
investment. It makes me think of Jasmine Sullivan's song on her Hotels album
Mm,
called The Other Side, where she's
mm,
talking about like she's like the lyrics just speak to that kind of calculation that women have to do to say, like, look, I'm tired of being broke or whatever. I'm gonna move to
yes.
Atlanta, I'm gonna get
Yes.
me a
Oh
nigga,
yeah.
I'm gonna get me some ass shots, I'm gonna get this, whatever, and do what I need to
And do
do,
what I gotta do.
so
Yeah.
that I can
Yeah.
keep it moving. Because I mean, one thing I can say about plastic surgery is I don't want to beat anybody up who does get it.
Oh yeah, for
They
sure.
get it because of something that they feel that is inadequate about themselves in some kind of way,
Yeah.
and they want to, for them, level up in some kind of way. So I think it largely goes, not even largely, it absolutely goes to a person's psychology and their feelings
Mhm.
about themselves, and the fact that I think all of us are trying to feel better about
Yeah.
ourselves in some kind of
Yeah.
way. We're all
Yeah.
trying to just deal with all of the pressures that we feel that society is throwing at us, whether it's body, money, wherever you live, your accomplishments, what success looks like. And so we're all trying to do our best. And for some people, for their best is to get plastic surgery so that they can improve themselves.
Mm. And I mean, I know it's interesting because the people that I know that have gotten plastic surgery,
Mhm.
they've all have been women, but I think most of them have even been a majority of them were married. So it's not like they were actually even
Mm,
looking for dudes. You know what I'm saying? They just wanted
interesting.
to feel better about themselves. They weren't, it wasn't like at least the ones that I personally knew. You know what I'm saying? It
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily an investment, but you're absolutely right. It's like I just want to feel good, feel better. Now, do you think do you think the media has played a role in increasing that?
Yeah,
Okay.
of
Okay.
course. So I just looked at this statistic. It says that in 2020 alone, there were 40,320 buttock augmentations.
Wow.
And BBL was searched roughly 200,000 times per month between January and May 2021. It's also one of the deadliest surgeries. So
Yes.
that's very interesting. I don't have the statistics to say what was before that, and yet I can imagine that there's definitely been an increase because
Yeah.
people, like you said before, which I think was such a good point, and we gotta close this up soon because this mini so could keep going. But what you
Mhm.
said, John, is such a good point that I think back in the day, that Hollywood was associated with plastic surgery, or plastic surgery was associated with
Mhm.
Hollywood.
Mhm.
And now that we're in the age of social media, in the age of the influencer, where
Mhm.
to be this Hollywood star is like a viral video away, or it's a
Yeah.
few viral videos away. So it's a lot more attainable. So more people are trying to get into this influencer, a celebrity. You can be a micro celebrity in so many ways now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so much more
That's so true.
attainable. And then also Hollywood and the lives of celebrities are a lot more visible to us than they were before. So we see the types of things that they're doing. And then we are trying to get access to them in different ways. Oh, my
Mm.
light just went off.
Oh
But
no, go ahead.
anyway,
No, no, go ahead.
but it just seems like we have way more access to all of those things. And so people
Yeah.
want to do it. And so now that more people want to do it and it's more accessible, people are going to do that thing.
And the last thing I want to talk about, because we really didn't like go into a deep discussion on it, but the
Mhm.
last thing I want to talk about is the penis enlargement, right? Because
Yes.
now that men are what up, Dr. Ada?
What
We
up,
just
What's good,
Jackie?
y'all?
me and the godmother Decatur just wrapping up this mini so real quick.
Uh-huh.
Oh, let me go ahead and
on
pop in.
yeah, on plastic surgery. But yeah, like many guys are considering penis enlargement. And
Mm,
before, maybe even just a few years ago, it was like, man, what y'all talking about, man? Nah, like if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. And if you ain't got it, you better have you better know how to work that tongue. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is, because whether you just got to be blessed with it. But now more and more guys are like, I mean, more and more guys are talking about erectile dysfunction. More and more guys are
mm,
talking about like penis enlargement and like doing things to better their sexual, because our sexual prowess is linked to our identity. And so a lot of times we didn't quite understand why women necessarily was getting ass shots and breast implants and all this other kind of stuff. But because especially black women, we was like, man, y'all already beautiful as y'all are, my sisters, my queens, my blah blah blah. And it's like, but it ain't got nothing to do with that, you know what I mean? So
mhm,
I think guys are starting to understand because of these things like pills, to make guys last longer in the bed, or to doing penis enlargements to make their penises longer or whatever. And so it's because I still think it's a little bit taboo, but it's becoming
mhm.
more and more normal and popular. So I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the future. And again, like you said, do what you want to do to feel good about yourself. Hopefully, though, you're not using this as the source of your happiness.
Yeah,
Hopefully, you're already doing the internal work to make yourself
yeah.
happy. Hopefully, you're already doing the internal work to make yourself happy with yourself at the same time. And in addition to that, if you are going to do something to alter your body, especially like BBLs, or move weight from one part to another, they say
Mhm.
you still got to work out. You still
Yeah.
got to eat healthy. So you still got to do a lot of the things that you were doing before. You know what I'm saying? Particularly for women who tend to get that work done. And for men, if you want to do penis enlargement or whatever, you still, you know what I'm saying? You still need, I think they say the number one thing for men in the bed is confidence. You still got to have the confidence. You know, you could have
That's true.
12
You can have a schlong,
a song, but if you ain't got
Hey.
the confidence, if you it ain't gonna work well. And then at the same time, you still got to go back to the basics. You could have a 12-inch long and you really not knowing what you're doing, and you hurting her, or you know what I'm saying. The experience still isn't good. So it's like, you know, you still got to go back to the basics on a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not just about getting that thing and thinking that's gonna fix everything. Go back to the basics, go back to that internal work, go back to communication with your partner, you know, your sexual partner or whatever. All of these things are really what's the most important before you start to seek that outside help.
Facts. So Jackie, real quick before we sign out for this mini, so what are your thoughts about, well, first our question is, have you had any plastic surgery and have you ever thought about getting any plastic surgery? And what are your just general thoughts about it?
I have not had any plastic surgery. And in general, it's kind of scary just on GP of like medical procedures getting cut up, like the pain that has to go with it. So I definitely will have hesitations with that. But have I thought about it? Of course. Like I'll look on social media, I'll see. What's interesting is that I will see people being more transparent about their plastic surgery. And I think that is something that has opened my like opinion of it. As it is today, right now, I'm not considering any sort of plastic surgery, but you know, you'll see social media, you'll see people with like these beautiful, perfect bodies. And then, you know, at some point they might be transparent and say, well, I've had this done or that done. It's like, oh, okay, this wasn't just like maybe she's born with it, maybe she's in the gym, you know, like this was, you know, Dr. Miami or Dr. I don't know, whoever else is out here, you know, nipping and tucking and nipping and whatever. So yeah, you know, that's you know, if people want to do it, then you know, live your life, I guess. Y'all not in my pockets asking for coins to do it. So
and that's another thing which we will talk about another time. Plastic surgery costs, and I'm like, how is people getting this $15,000, $20,000 surgery? I don't know. Sugar daddy, sugar mamas, it's coming from someplace. But anyway, we'd love to hear your thoughts about plastic surgery. Have you gotten it? Do you know people who have gotten it? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's interesting? Is it worth the risk? So we're going to wrap up now our Street Academy podcast mini. So any last thoughts?
Well, one of my last thoughts is also, I guess another part to it is, would you be okay with your kid? You know, when you talk about, you know, what if your child came to you at a certain age? Think about the future of plastic surgery. It's becoming more and more popular. And now I'm hearing that these young kids are saying that they want plastic surgery, you know, when they're 16, 18, 20. And it's like your body really doesn't take shape until maybe you're like in your 20s, 30s, where you actually get the body that you're going to have.
Right.
So that's something to really think about. You know what I'm saying? As we get, those are questions. If you have kids or if you're going to have kids, that's something I have to think about. That having a daughter, she may want, you know, she may ask that question. She may want to get that later on. And how would I respond? So
that's a really good question, John.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, yo, I mean, I think this was an incredible conversation. Very pointed, very different. And so, yeah, just like Amber said, leave us a comment, leave us messages on YouTube, on Instagram. You know, we probably need to do a Facebook page as well, but Facebook, when we get that up, and just let us know, man. Let us know what y'all think about the topic. So super interesting. It's been another mini-sode, Street Academy podcast, where we keep one for any academy and one for the industries.
Bye.
Dr. Hater, godmother of Decatur. John Jizzle, we out.
That you know got their feet upon the neck of the haters, the game and the devil like